It's boring Arsenal, but it's effective. Bruno outperforming Haaland with the armband and Joao Pedro bagging a hat-trick as Chelsea go big. This is the Thursday debrief as we review all of the games on Wednesday night. And we got some big ones, guys. We've got to discuss popular assets from Villa and Chelsea. Loads have still double or triple Arsenal. We'll discuss them. They just about got over the line versus Brighton. Fulham, West Ham, less relevant for FPL, but we should have our eye on a few West Ham players now. They're starting to look good. Man City versus Tottenham. Oh, Haaland so close to a return. We'll speak more about that, but actually Forest stepped up. And how did United, against 10 men, not beat Newcastle? Well, let's delve into that as well. So welcome to the Thursday debrief, guys. If you want to show support for the channel, I'd love you to hit those buttons, like, subscribe, comment. But let's get cracking with the game, shall we? And look, it was awesome to have so many games playing at once. We had 4 games kick off at the same time. Then we had Man United after, and it was awesome to watch all the games. I feel like I had to go back and watch highlights of all games because when you're watching 4 at once or 5 at once at times, it's a bit tricky to be fully on top of it. But this show is all about showing you what I see through the eye test, but also giving you all the good stuff and the insight and the data to back it up. The best FPL managers should be using eye test, watching games, but also all the evidence and all the numbers and all the stats too. So whilst this isn't going to be spreadsheet heavy, I digest stats in a more visual way. So yes, we'll look at things like XG plots. We'll look at average position maps, and all of that stuff will help us inform our FPL decisions. So let's get cracking. I mean, Brighton, pretty dominant from start to finish. Like, yeah, I know Saka scores that early goal, but what Arsenal are really good at is protecting a lead. They're old school. And when Arsenal go 1-0 up in a game, even when that goal occurs in the first 10 minutes, you still go, it's going to be 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's just what they do. And they didn't really care about scoring after that. They didn't need to. And in all honesty, they weren't massively threatened by Brighton after that. Sure. Like Brighton had some chances, but they only accumulated 1 XG. It wasn't like they had a ton of big chances. And Arsenal are quite comfortable with small chances against them. And they're very good defensively. And they've got an elite goalkeeper. I said weeks ago, Arsenal were going to win the league by winning games 1-0. And then the double game, that's why I triple captain Gabriel, right? And that was the line I used a lot leading up to triple captain Gabriel, was to enforce my decision. Yeah, Arsenal will beat, in the double game week, they'll win one of their games 1-0 and they probably get a clean sheet in the other. It's Arsenal, it's what they do. And they disappointed, but Gabriel is firmly back, guys. And Arsenal were firmly back. They had a little blip, a little blunder. And unfortunately, it was at the time when loads of us went triple captain Gabriel. But look, it's what Arsenal do. And Gabriel is usually good value for 8+ points. And you'll see what he got, 11. 7 shots to 11. Again, open play, XG. They go away from home. They only create 0.26. Again, 50% of Arsenal's chances, set pieces. It's what we expect. Compared to Brighton, who are the opposite. Brighton are the total football team. They're the sexy football team. Set pieces, no. We don't care about them. 0.00 XG from set pieces. We're all about the open play. It sounds great, but it's not always the most effective. And that's what you'd say about Brighton. They're neat and tidy. They're pretty. They sound great. And in theory, they are. But their results put them pretty much mid-table mediocrity at best. And that's what they need to change for next season. Interesting. We'll see their lineup in a minute. Havertz came on for Gyökeres, as you would expect. Saka was the outlet. And Martinelli got the nod over Trossard against Trossard's former club. Now, with Eze in the midfield, one thing I'm noticing a lot, when Odegaard plays in there, Declan Rice usually becomes more of an open play attacking threat. When Eze's in there, Eze's an out-and-out 10. He doesn't work back much. And with that in mind, Rice has to be quite disciplined. But Rice did get forward yesterday, in fairness. But I do prefer Rice alongside Odegaard. As a Rice owner, I want Rice alongside Odegaard. It gives Rice that extra 10 yards forward quite often because Odegaard will drop, will get on the ball. Rice will then make those box crashing runs. When Eze's on the pitch, Eze's only about the number 10. Eze's only about the floating roll and the free roll. And Rice therefore has to be a little bit more withdrawn. Mosquera came in for Saliba. Unlucky if you're in Saliba. And Timber went big. Timber's attacking returns, we're starting to see them now. We're starting to see the assists coming, and he's been due. And owners have absolutely deserved their recent points. Annoyingly for owners, a lot sold Timber for Van Dijk a couple of weeks ago. And he's had 2 assists in 2 now. Yeah, tricky one, that. Extra points. I mean, Timber even got DEFCON. Timber not only got the assist, he got DEFCON. Hincapié, DEFCON. Gabriel, 17 defensive contributions, including a goal line clearance, which boosts you massively in the BPS. So whilst Timber got the attacking involvement and all the defensive actions and a clean sheet, Gabriel still outperformed him in bonus. Why? Goal line clearance is something like 8 or 10, I forget, BPS. It's massive. It's as good as an assist, right? So the goal line clearance in the first 5 minutes for Gabriel was massive. And I tweeted when that happened saying, good for bonus points. Like, we all saw it and we went, yeah, it's going to be great. So Gabriel, Timber, and then Raya getting a cheeky bonus as well, alongside Saka and Hincapié. Raya with the 7-pointer, very popular Raya, but he's proving to be the goalkeeper of choice. They went through a little period where it was like Kelleher, Verbruggen, the rotation between the two. They were getting hauls. They're not really getting the points anymore. Verbruggen didn't yesterday anyway, but Raya is, and Raya's looking quite steady. There's no steadier than Gabriel, though. We're firmly back with our 11 points from the best centre-back in the game. Brighton, you never know what Herzler's going to do. And yesterday he went and dropped Danny Welbeck because it was a midweek game and short recovery time. But still, Welbeck's been playing well, and he played Hinselwood pretty much. He played Rutter as the 9, and Hinselwood as pretty much played a front 2 with Hinselwood and Rutter. You could argue he played a front 2. He played no front line. It was like 2 false 9s. Matoma the outlet. Gomez with the big chance, but it was cleared off the line. Rutter played really well, I thought. Rutter's always one of their best players. Just never really been an FPL pick. Van Heck, often an FPL pick. And Kadioglu with the set-piece stretch should be good. I'm waiting for Matoma's recovery arch. Like, he is going to come at some point, and Matoma is cheap. Keep your eyes on him. He's getting the game time now, and he is looking quite bright. All right, I think we'll move away from Arsenal. Just worth noting, the next couple of games with Arsenal, they do blank in 31. You don't need to sell them. We all sold Timber because, he doesn't play in 31. Timber's going to get you points. Same with Declan Rice. Declan Rice missed out on DEFCON. Oh, it's so frustrating. Declan Rice here, 11 DEFCON. In the 90th minute, he was on 11. He then went up to 13 before the end of the game. I was like, DEFCON secure. And I saw him get a defensive action, and I tweeted it. Overnight, he sank back down to 11. And that's not... Opta have made their updates. He's still on 11. So really frustrating for me as a Declan Rice owner. But yeah, keep your Arsenal assets for Everton and then get rid. Let's talk about... Whoa, what a game. What a game. This was all about the race for top 5. This was Chelsea's biggest game since Rossini's been there, arguably. Massive football match for Chelsea. And boy, did they come up trumps, despite conceding early. And one thing we're going to see under Rossini, guys, we're going to see goals conceded. They were open. And I know Aston Villa didn't clock big XG, only the 1. But there was also a disallowed goal for Watkins, which was so marginal, which happened early. I think that was to make it 1-1. That's not registered in an XG plot because the offside flag was raised. Again, a fairly big chance that Watkins secured. But Chelsea are like, you score 1, we'll score 2. You score 2, we'll score 3. They're all about that. They're all about that. And what does that do for FPL? It makes us want to swerve all their defensive assets. And if you picked Sanchez, by the way, you'll see he was dropped last night. Rossini did say pre-match, the way I manage, I don't have a number 1, i.e. no one's safe. It's just attackers. And boy, can you invest in attackers. Enzo got an assist. Joao Pedro a hat-trick. Palmer big points. Garnacho looked really bright. I'm very happy in tough fixtures having Chelsea players. We all sold them because of a tough run, but Villa was meant to be a tough fixture. They've scored 4 goals. No other team scored more than Chelsea this game week. Newcastle was a tough fixture. They'll still score goals against Newcastle, same as Everton. I'm quite comfortable with Chelsea attackers. And Joao Pedro, boy, why is he not in my team? He's starting to look... Joao Pedro's gone from... I don't like using the term elite or top tier or world-class much because I think we overuse it. And in the Premier League, there is a huge amount of players that are that tier below. And I've always said Joao Pedro feels like that tier below. And I'm going to put Morgan Rogers and I'm going to put Bukayo Saka even in that tier. The very top tier is like Mo Salah, Gabriel, Cole Palmer, to be fair, world class, like that very creme de la creme. Bruno Fernandes, right at the very top tier. If Joao Pedro continues this form, he's going to be in that top tier Not before long. And he's going to be starting for Brazil not before long. And if he starts for Brazil in a World Cup, perceptions change, right? And with Rodrigo's injury as well, there's that one extra attacking spot up for grabs for Brazil. Anyway, we digress. Chelsea dominant, deserved the win. Look at the big chances, guys. And set pieces, nah. 0.17. We're all about the open play creativity. Only one shot inside the outside the box. And I think Rossinia's doing this. We talk about teams like Big Chance Brentford, and we know under Thomas Frank and Keith Andrews, they weren't allowed to shoot from outside the box. It's all about creating big chances. Rossinia's doing similar. Rossinia doesn't want pop shots from distance. He's all about direct through the middle. We're seeing a lot of central passes, and he's all about big chances. And they're getting it. I say central passes. They come on the average position map. Last night, they actually did use the width quite a lot. And that was because Villa packed the middle of the park. So when you look at Villa's average position map, just look at the amount of play. They had to go wide with Maddison. But look how central Douglas Luiz, Onana, and Buendia and Rodgers. It's like a diamond in midfield. To counter that, they went round the sides with Cole Palmer and Garnacho. We always see teams going down the sides with fullbacks, as Villa did. That's pointless, right? Unless the fullbacks are high. Often you see fullback passes to centre-backs, and it's just a load of that. We don't care about those lines. We care about those lines. Now, those lines, Gusto to Palmer, Hato to Garnacho, Enzo to Garnacho, Reece James to Palmer. That little triangle on the right-hand side works so well. And we saw Reece James, he hasn't been doing this much recently, play in the middle of the park. It's been a double pivot of Caicedo and Santos. Yesterday, it was a double pivot of, in theory, Reece James and Caicedo, but actually it was just a single pivot of Caicedo, but Reece James went advanced. So with that, Reece James was not at right back. He played central midfield, and him and Enzo just did that. Just like O'Reilly and Bernardo Silva have been doing that. Rodri holds 2 number 8s. It was Caicedo holding 2 number 8s, and Gusto had a great game at right back. Really good game, and he's too good for the bench quite often, Gusto. Hato came in at left back and looked solid in the Cucurella role. Again, Gusto can't play there if Cucurella's on the pitch, because when Cucurella's on the pitch, he's level with Enzo. He's often a lot higher than Hato. He can be disciplined, but this dynamic worked. This shape worked. And Enzo playing as an 8 alongside Reece worked. And then Cole Palmer played technically on the right-hand side, but again, he drifts infield. I like Cole Palmer in this position. Cole Palmer as a 10 often gets crowded out by the opposition centre-backs, defensive mids. Cole Palmer on the right, being able to drift in is really nice. When you play Cole Palmer on the right, you have to have an outlet on the left-hand side. You have to have a winger, not an inside forward. And that can come in the form of Pedro Neto or Esteval. Yesterday it was Garnacho, who played really well. The only problem with Garnacho, and he does this every time I watch him, including at Man United, where United fans will tell you, the most frustrating player, because final ball, not always great, but most importantly for him, he fails to hit and score big chances. He misses chance. Garnacho's shot volume is through the roof. I bet if you looked per 90 at the end of the season of wide forwards and the amount of shots, Saka, Salah, and probably Garnacho, I reckon, would be the top 3 in there. Maybe Mbeumo. Honestly, but the others score. Garnacho doesn't do that. He's a poor finisher, but he does everything else so well. He finds space so well. He gets in the positions so well. His dribbling's good. His positioning's great. He's smart, but boy, he can't finish. He needs to work on that. He's still young. Maybe he will. He's still a bit of a rough diamond, Garnacho, but this should be the Joao Pedro show. We should be talking about him. What a performance. What composed finishes. Absolutely huge performance for him. His confidence moving forward. He's absolutely Chelsea's talisman and out number 9 now. Such an impressive campaign so far. Begs the question, guys, why is he not in all our FPL teams? And I know someone will be going, I've got him. He's now smashing Thiago for points. 160 points this season. 160. Like, that's the same pretty much as Bruno Fernandes on 166. Bruno Fernandes is in all our teams. And he's a lot more expensive than Joao Pedro. I know the fixtures are rough and he banks in 31, but when we wildcard, he's going to be in everyone's team. 14 goals. And unlike a lot of the other strikers, Thiago, Haaland, he's not on pens. Look at the non-penalty goals, and Joao Pedro is right up there. Probably the most. I'd have thought he's got the most, has he? Non-penalty goals. Total goals for Haaland is 22. So no, he's probably edging it still, Haaland. Second to Haaland is absolutely fine still, though, right? Absolutely fine. So look, Chelsea look impressive, and I fancy them. I fancy them to go and put a convincing display together versus Newcastle and Everton, and 6 points is very possible. We're going to look at the league title in a minute because I think that's an important conversation to have when we're prepping for the end of the season. Extra points, 92 in the BPS. You very rarely see anything above sort of 60, 70. 92 is chicken oriental. Palmer with 2 bonus points, and Garnacho gets his bonus. Palmer so close to DEFCONing as well. Do notice, often we see a dominant display. I just want to talk about DEFCON for 10 seconds or 30 seconds. When we see a dominant display like this, people often go, oh, Villa defenders must have got loads at DEFCON. And when our teams play against Man City, we go, oh, let's play that defender. They won't keep a clean sheet, but they'll get DEFCON. They're playing Man City, or they're playing this Chelsea team. Doesn't work like that. DEFCON is not about playing attacking teams and your defenders getting points. And Villa showed that last night. Like, clearly, look at the Villa DEFCON last night. Despite them being really up against it, Maatsen 9, the best centre-back 5. Why? Because Chelsea don't play direct. The biggest DEFCON beneficiaries are the teams playing against direct teams. When you play a direct team like a Brentford or a Bournemouth that go long a lot, the centre-backs have a ton of clearances, headers. When you play teams that are great at set pieces or long throw-ins like Brentford, again, the defenders, what happens most of the time at a long throw-in? It's cleared. Again, that's a defensive action. So what we're looking for with DEFCON shouldn't be, oh, my defenders are going to get points versus Chelsea and Man City. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that at all. And the big DEFCON scores often come against the middling teams or the lower teams, but certainly the most direct teams. Look for the set piece threat, the long ball threat, teams like Bournemouth, Brentford, back to front very quickly. Anyway, that was useful just for a little bit of housekeeping. We're not going to go into average position map of Aston Villa. I don't think we need to do that. Let's talk Man City though, because boy, hands up if you're captain Haaland. Oh boy, I'm going to show you my team at the end of this show. It's the biggest red arrow I've had in a long time. Disappointing. This goes in for Haaland, and that red arrow is not so big. Ball comes in from Aït-Nouri. You can see him there on the edge of the 18-yard box. Gets it past Aina. Just past Sells, and look at Haaland stretched out. He misses it. If that hits his toe and goes in, it's probably, but it's bonus points and a goal. And you never then know if what happens because of game state. You might then go on and get a second return. Fine margins. Those that went Bruno, 8 points. Those that went Haaland, 2. That's a big swing. 16-4 is a huge swing with captaincy. So let's talk about Man City. Did they deserve the win? Should they have got the win? Guys, by the way, I would love you to subscribe this morning if you're not already, but do hit that like button. It just boosts the algorithm. If you've got a comment, I'll get back to you. These Wednesday and Thursday debriefs were only here based on your recommendations. So if you want to show support for me getting up at 6 a.m. to record, then do that. Right, Man City, they were the dominant team. And Man City at home are the most reliable team in the league. I always say this. But they did concede some chances yesterday. Donnarumma made a few saves. They conceded a big chance for a goal and a not so big chance for the Elliot Anderson goal. But I thought Forest were good value for a draw, to be fair. And Man City have got to do a little bit more. Do you know what they really missed, Man City? They really missed Nico O'Reilly in the middle of the park. And I know that's crazy to be talking about one of their kids. Was he 20 years old? Academy graduate. With all the money they spent. And it was O'Reilly they really missed. But they did. They did. He's been playing so well as an 8. He breaks things up. But he's such a good box crasher. He's got the energy to go 18-yard box to 18-yard box. And then when he gets in the box, he's a real goal threat. And because of his height, they can look for him for crosses. If you're looking at him, you can't look at Haaland and vice versa. And I just think the added threat of his height in the box with Haaland, which City never have. City never have that with players like Foden and Cherki and Bernardo Silva and Semenyo. The only threat in the air is always Haaland, and the centre-backs do a good job often of maintaining that. You put O'Reilly's aerial dominance in the box, and it contributes to a little bit of mayhem. They did irk some big chances out, and 21 shots. They started getting some shots from distance, which didn't help. Some big set-piece threat there, but 21 shots. However, fair play to Forest, because you go and get a big chance at the Etihad isn't an easy thing to do, and you go and get 9 shots. 2 goals. Fair play. And Forest do look good. Forest do look like good value to stay up. But then, instead of West Ham, we'll talk about Tottenham. We'll talk about Tottenham and the race for the bottom as well, shall we? We'll get to that in just a second, guys. Stay tuned. We'll get to the league title because I think this point in the season, making our FPL picks, especially when we're on wildcard in a week or so, we need to be thinking about teams with stuff to play for. Look at this average position pass map. It's so neat and tidy, but it's so high and it's so compact. And City play like training ground football quite often, and it was good. I mean, Semenyo played wide. We've seen Semenyo playing as a forward. It wasn't that last night. He just played Haaland down there. Look at the fullbacks, Aït-Nouri and Matheus Nunes, even more so. Matheus Nunes, the second most advanced man on the pitch for City at right back. They just couldn't break them down. And Forest, what we know from the years gone by under Nuno last season, one thing they are very good at doing is going to places like the Etihad and keeping them out or drawing or getting a point, because Murillo and Milenkovic are so good defensively, and actually he played a back three with Milenkovic, Murillo and Cuenca as well, and then Aina and Williams as wing backs. And many teams go to the Etihad set up in a back five, and it kind of worked. Sangare and Dominguez, but Elliot Anderson a little bit more advanced than we've seen, and Morgan Gibbs-White absolutely the free man, the number 10, and what a goal he scored. But Elliot Anderson, under the new manager, is getting shots. His DEFCON might slip a bit, although he still got 15 last night, but he's definitely going to be more of a goal threat. Definitely more of a goal threat. He still topped out on the extras, and he gets 3 bonus points. I expect he's on a huge amount of benches. We should probably talk a little bit about bench points. Before we do, Man City, by the way, and Forest, where are we at? Well, City, West Ham is a good fixture, and Haaland captain's still going to be popular. Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Tottenham. I think they beat Fulham at home, you know. I think Forest are going to stay up. I think they're going to be all right. They're really encouraging performance yesterday. But sometimes we have to look at these encouraging performances for a team like Forest and go, it's easier to get the plaudits against a team like City if you win. You can go there, you can set up a defensive team, you can lock them out, and you can nick a draw. Can you go and break down a Fulham at home when you've got to play football and be front foot and have the ball? And it's in those games Forest and a lot of the relegation teams have struggled this season. Let's see how Forest can get on against teams like Fulham, who will be quite disciplined and they're hard to score against. And Forest will be expected as the home team to play football and have the ball. This average position can't happen against Fulham. They'll be up there. Does that play into their hands or not? Let's see. Auto subs and bench jam. Let's discuss that. Guys, auto subs last night, we're going to see a huge amount of them because players like O'Reilly didn't play, right? So who comes in? If you had a player that didn't play last night, Harry Wilson was so popular. So Wilson and O'Reilly, 2 in the community, quite popular. Who's your auto sub? I've seen so many getting Senesi. 12 points was it? So many getting Hill. 8 points? So many getting Elliot Anderson. Massive haul. Harry Maguire. Brilliant. Thanks for the 1 pointer for me. But look, some will be getting big returns off the bench. Others will be getting none. I can't complain. I got Bruno off the vice captaincy last week when Haaland didn't play. But it just goes to show the importance of having a good first sub. And I had Rodgers and Maguire on my bench, and they both got a point. So, yeah, c'est la vie. Right, let's talk about that league table, shall we? I think the league table is pretty important to consider right now. So we've got the league table, obviously, at the top. We'll go through that in a bit of detail. Who's going to get top 5? Because the race for top 5 is important with our FPL picks. And who's going to go down? I mean, look, let's do top 5 first, shall we? Let's do top 5 first. So forget Arsenal, Man City, but 51 points there, Man United. With them losing last night, with Villa losing last night, Chelsea are looking at it going, it's going to be final day of the season stuff, and Liverpool. Now, I say top 5 because Champions League is top 5 this season. It's going to be for English teams. Again, most seasons it will be. Are Brentford completely out of the mix? Could Brentford get in there? They're only 4 points off, and Brentford's fixtures, you'd have to say, are very good. Wolves and Leeds up next. If we're here in game week 32 going, Brentford are a point off the top 5 and they've just beaten Wolves and Leeds, some might be considering it. Brentford, remember, no midweek football for Brentford. Unlike Villa, Chelsea and Liverpool, maybe an early exit from the Champions League for Chelsea or Liverpool would be a good thing for them to get top 5. My bet here is Villa drop out. I think Chelsea and Liverpool get it. Villa drop out, although Liverpool haven't been convincing. Now, the reason I'm showing you this with, just give me a minute of your time here. You'll notice there's a QR code on screen for Sport Exchange Market, but you can buy and sell these clubs. This is a complete free-to-play game I've been playing, showing it with the league table, but it's playing the stock market, right? I look at teams like Chelsea and they're on the up. I'm buying their stocks. I'm looking at teams like Villa and I'm absolutely swerving their stocks. Now, there is no crypto. There's no gambling element to this, no crypto element to this. If there was, with crypto, like I just wouldn't be promoting this game. I don't promote products or games. And I get approached a lot about football games, you can imagine, crypto ones especially. Not into that. And I don't want you guys to be into that. So I'd never promote it. This is completely fun. You get 10,000 euros of free money. My balance there is 2,000 because I've got loads of shares still. And with all that money, you get to buy stocks of teams, and they go up and down in value based on their results in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So look, for example, and by the way, free prizes to win each month and each season, like iPhones and iPads, all of that good stuff. So you get your portfolio. I've got 110 shares spent. My portfolio value is over 7,000. I've got 2,000 in the bank. I'm down. I've not been great at this game. Fulham, for example. I owned Fulham last night. I didn't sell them before the West Ham game because I thought they would beat West Ham. Their share price dropped. Will I sell them? I'll probably see it out now. I look at Fulham and go, can they win their next football match or two? Is it a long-term investment or a short-term one? I go, oh, they've got Forest and Burnley. I think I'll probably ride it out and keep them. The portfolio is really cool. Looking at it as a league table is really cool. Look at the bottom table, half the table. Who's going to go down? Who's going to stay up? I think Leeds and Forest and West Ham are going to start picking up more points than Spurs. I'll probably buy those clubs. I certainly won't be buying Spurs. Guys, there's a link in the description. There's a QR code on screen. It takes seconds. I cannot stress enough. This is just a free-to-play fun game. Free-to-play fun game. Like, it's awesome because you're investing in the club, not in the individual player. And what I do with my FPL team, more often than not, before I identify the individuals I want to buy, I go after clubs. We scout with clubs and we scout with fixture tickers. Just the same with this game. Now, it's FA Cup this weekend. There's no Premier League action this weekend. If you're going to do one thing and want to play a different game because there's no FPL, go and play Sport Exchange Market by scanning the QR code, click the link in the description. I think you'll love it. And every Sunday debrief, we'll talk about it for the end of the season. I want to know your portfolio and your money in the bank as well. So we'll do a regular feature on the Sundays. So let's get cracking then with the rest of the games. Where are we? Oh, we've still got to do my team. Do we have to? Oh, my red arrow is shocking, guys. Fulham, West Ham. We've just discussed Fulham and West Ham. Thought Fulham would win. Hence I didn't sell their stocks. And by the way, I sold stocks on Forest. A draw versus City saw them have a nice little boost in market value. Anyway, West Ham looking good under Nuno. They're going to stay up, guys. They're going to do it. I think they're going to do it. What's the points at the bottom? 28 points. Spurs have to win tonight. And Leeds are going to get dragged into this now as well, aren't they? But West Ham can keep the momentum up. West Ham's fixtures, it's City and Villa next. But after that, I fancy them to win some more football matches. And I think they can beat Villa too. Somerville has been amazing. Let's look at Somerville first. Somerville and Bowen. Somerville's been even better than Bowen. Played a front two last night with Tati and Wilson. Attacking lineup, to be fair, but then Fernandez and Souček can sit. The fullbacks are attacking Wan-Bissaka and Diouf. And since Disasi has been there, and he's got the French chemistry now with Todibo, who came in for the first time in ages last night, Disasi is so good at this level. Disasi's been amazing for West Ham. He's been the difference maker of their clean sheets. Really, really, really has been. I think since he's been there, he's had something like 4 clean sheets in 5 or something. It's ridiculous form. And he's found his level because he's not a Chelsea player. And he'd struggled at Villa. Big fish, smaller pond. West Ham's his level. Bowen's still a non-event despite all the DEFCON threat you get. And DEFCON, by the way, for those players, let's have a look at their DEFCON because Bowen again really close to it. He got the 10. I think he had 11 the game before. Wan-Bissaka gets it. Sander Berge gets it. But Somerville gets all the extra points. And Hermansen in goal, who's getting the nod over Areola. Hermansen in goal is one to look at maybe on wildcard because remember, guys, we all owned Matt Sells when Nuno was there. Like, Nuno goalkeepers do quite well. And Hermansen, It's 4.2 million, and he's now nailed. He has played the last 5 games, 90 minutes. Now, we're wildcarding, a lot of us, in game week 32. The entry point for West Ham in 32 is Wolves at home. Hermansen's going to be super popular. The bad fixtures are going to be out the way before 32. You get City and Villa out the way, and your entry point for either a Disasi or a Hermansen is Wolves, Crystal Palace, Everton, Brentford, and then it's Arsenal, Newcastle. Leeds on the final day could be the one to keep West Ham up. That's a 6-pointer. But you get Wolves, Palace, Everton, Brentford. Like, I think, honestly, the way they're defending at the minute, since Hermansen's come in, since Disasi's come in, clean sheet versus Fulham, clean sheet versus Bournemouth, conceded to Liverpool and Man United, fair play, but then a clean sheet versus Burnley. Like, 3 clean sheets in 5 there. Yeah, I like it. Think about that in your wild card. We'll get to that during the game week 32, of course. Fulham, low XG chances. Jimenez, some went in and bought him. They've rotated a lot. He dropped Smith Rowe out. He dropped Oscar Bob out, and he played Chukwueze and he played King. Bit too much rotation there. And remember, when there's midweek fixtures, Silva is one of those managers that will do that. Proof in the pudding from last night. Yeah, Fulham, you never quite know what you're going to get with them, do you? But West Ham and wildcard, didn't quite appreciate that. We might be looking at Somerville too, you know. Honestly, I reckon there'll be a lot of double up on West Ham for our enabler slots. Not in your 11s, but certainly your bench slots or bringing in for good fixtures. Somerville is 5.7 million. 5.7 million. Do you know how many goals he's got in the last... He's got 5 goals in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... in the last 8 games. 5 in 8, 2.9%. We like this average position. We like the fact he's playing 90. We like the fact he's got 5 and 8. Somerville, Disasi, Diouf, always an assist threat. Hermansen, all legit wildcard picks. It's funny, I'm talking about wildcard picks and I'm not talking about Bowen. Just don't see it. It's just too expensive as well. It's a little bit too expensive with Bowen, guys. That's my problem there. All right. We said we'd do my team. Let's do it. The post-mortem. Oh, guys. Honestly, I have had an unbelievable run of green arrows, so I can't moan too much, and I can't be disappointed. But going into a little FPL break, and it is FA Cup weekend, feels like a break, right? It would have been so nice to get a green arrow. Now, when I look at my recent few weeks, I'm just going to show you where I've been at, because I felt like I was in a really good place to enter the top 100k, and I thought my team was quite well set. But we'll go through the individual players in a minute. But I tweeted this going into the game week. I've had green arrow since game week 23. I've gone from 840k in game week 22 to 124k. However, with no players still to play on Thursday night, no Spurs players, no Palace players, they're not highly owned, but I'm going to get an even bigger red arrow than the one I've got. My 207k is going to drift out even further. Now, pre-subs, I was on 180. But all of those auto subs of the Bournemouth defenders, Senesi, Hill, of the Elliot Anderson auto subs, my auto sub was Harry Maguire. I've drifted out to 208k. It's not bad. I should still be fine with 208k. If Declan Rice gets me DEFCON, and he was on DEFCON and they took it off him, the extra 2 points, yeah, I've been inside the top 200k. Thank goodness Arsenal kept a clean sheet, because the Raya Gabriel double up was quite nice at my rank. Virgil disappointing. Harry Maguire super disappointing. Maguire nowhere near even DEFCON last night. Virgil similar. Stack again so close to a big haul. If Rodon's goal is allowed, and I know I'm getting the violin out here, guys. Apologies. If Rodon's goal is allowed and it's a centimetre offside, Stack not only gets the 3-point assist, but he probably gets 3 bonus points because he's so good in the BPS that game. So that's a 10-pointer for Stack, not a 4. Bruno Fernandes Kappas, 8 points, like 16. It's massive swing over the Haaland Kappas at 4. 16 versus 4. Ryan disappointing. Thiago disappointing. Ekatika disappointing. Guys, should we be looking at Joao Pedro, like making that move soon as possible? When a player like Joao Pedro's got momentum, and at the start of the season he did, and we all started the season with him because of what we saw in the Club World Cup, and he went on that unbelievable run. He is in such a hot streak at the moment, Joao Pedro. And should we be trading in players that have good fixtures, like a Ekitike or a Thiago? And I think a lot have got this front line now. for someone like Joao Pedro. Now, let me show you Joao Pedro's recent points, because I think when we look at them, we'll all realize that it's like, yeah, we're making errors here. We're making errors. Let me show you the points, because I think Joao Pedro is the one we probably all need to massively discuss this week, because we keep watching the points and going, it will stop soon. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. Now, I go back to game week 23 where he scored versus Palace. He also scored in 22, right? I just couldn't clip that. So he's got 3 goals against our Villa, and then he scored every game but 1 from game week 22. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals in 8 games in the Premier League. Combine that with the fact he's got, this is mad, 8 goals in 8 games. He's also got 6 assists. That's bonkers. 8 goals, 6 assists in 8 games. 8 goals, 6 assists in 8. I can't keep saying 8 goals, 6 assists. 14 attacking involvements. And he's not in my team. And I've not even really been close to buying him, if I'm honest, because I saw Arsenal and I saw Villa and I went, no, I want Thiago, I want Ekitike. 46% though, he's your biggest rank killer. The only saving grace is a lot of his rank is behind you. There's a lot of his rank are dead teams from start of the season that gave up in September, October. But guys, at that price point, 7.6 million, same price as Thiago pretty much. He's cheaper than Ekitike. He is getting big points and we're missing out. Will he score versus Newcastle and Everton? Probably. Now, Joao Pedro fixtures, because Champions League does matter. But if they come out the Champions League, remember they got PSG. I think there's a very good chance PSG knock them out the Champions League, right? Now, if they do, Chelsea are going to start getting some free midweeks. Now, Joao Pedro is going to get a rest versus Wrexham. I think that's pretty obvious. That's a Delap game, right? So he's got Wrexham this weekend. Let me grab his fixtures with dates. Because again, he's looking pretty robust. Like, he isn't someone that's getting injured. He isn't someone that we need to rotate lots. Let's just look at these fixtures. I've just grabbed them off Google to show you. These are the fixtures for Joao Pedro and the dates, because the dates are quite important here. So Wrexham's his rest on the Saturday. He plays PSG. The turnaround time, frustratingly for Chelsea and for Man City and for Liverpool, is Wednesday, Tuesday. Sorry, not Liverpool. Liverpool of Tuesday, Wednesday. So Ekitike, between his Galatasaray games, his Premier League game, he'll be fine against Spurs because it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Joao Pedro, Wednesday, Tuesday turnaround? Not so sexy. Does he play versus Newcastle? I'm just not 100% sure he does. Depends if the tie's in the balance. I guess it will be. Probably gets minutes versus Newcastle, but you're not good for 90 versus Newcastle. But then if you come out the Champions League, it looks all right. And Everton, Man City, Man United, Brighton, he'll score against these tough teams. He is scoring against the tough teams. Just don't think I can buy him with the Wednesday, Tuesday turnaround. I think that is the one deciding factor that stops me saying right now I'm going to go buy Joao Pedro. Despite having 14 goal contributions in 8 games, I'm going to say it for the last time. Wow, guys, I think we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to put my early thoughts video out, my transfer plans video out in the next couple of days. And then, of course, it's FA Cup weekend. To entertain you during the FA Cup weekend, give this game a go. And every Sunday debrief, I want to know your portfolio value. Sign up to Sport Exchange Market. It's brilliant. And look at the table and go, where can I see value there? That's how I play it. Who's going to outperform their position? Who's going to win football matches? They win, their share price goes up. Guys, thank you for watching. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, and I'll see you in 24 hours' time. Bye-bye.